there, I'm Mandy Yarkich from Creative Matters, and you're listening to Creative Matters on Air, where I have conversations with new and established artists from around New Zealand. I love to listen to artists' stories and learn about their creative process, and maybe you do too, which is why I've made this podcast, to inspire, inform and educate. I hope you can take away something positive and encouraging from each of these amazing stories to help you on your own creative journey. Welcome to Creative Matters episode 12. Thanks so much for listening. Today I'm talking to Anna Hanson. With over 30 years' experience in the arts as both a practitioner and curator, Anna Hanson strives to empower artists, champion the role of art in society, and transform widely held perceptions of textile-based projects within the art arena. As a practitioner, Anna's work embraces the codes of embroidery, ropes, and textiles. As a curator, Anna sees her role as one of empowerment, providing artists with an environment and structure in which they are recognised, respected, and fairly rewarded. Through her unwavering personal and professional focus, Anna hopes to give both art and artists the essential platform they desire and deserve. Welcome to Creative Matters, Anna.
Good afternoon, Mandy.
Good afternoon.
It's an honour to be here.
So good to have you. Thank you for coming. You and I have been friends for some time. I do remember meeting you at one of your studios in Upper Queen Street, Auckland.
Yes,
about
car wash.
6 years ago. Yep, car wash. And I think it was to pick up a sleeping bag of my sons who'd been at Explore with you working.
The lovely Brody's first year.
Yeah. And I was
ruined his schooling career just after one session at Explore.
Not only his school career, I'd say, other things.
True.
But and it was, I think we connected straight away, didn't we? Sat down and had a chat. Yeah, it was cool. So thank you, Brody. While I was still being that mummy that ran around after her son.
Yes.
I met Anna. So that's good.
Well, we really miss Brody. We missed him this year because he's such a great team member. I think we've all got Brody stories, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, he loves it. He'll be back, I'm sure. So if we can go right back to the beginning, Anna, can you tell us about where you were born, something about your childhood, and if you were making and thinking creatively as a child?
Oh, okay. I was born here in Auckland, in West Auckland. And I come from a family, one side of my family are very much makers. My father's side, his father was a sculptor, came out to New Zealand from Wales, and spent his whole life making, really. So we very much grew up in an environment on my father's side where, there was always sculpture around. We worked with him in his shed. There was always plaster around and bronzes and all sorts of things. And I loved it. I was very close to him. And it's always been part of my life. My grandmother, my father's mother, worked with textiles. She was a machinist or sewer or a pattern maker, whatever they were back then. And she introduced me to kind of handcrafts and sewing and how to make things. So very much a making family on that side. Yeah. And my dad.
Your dad was an engineer, wasn't he?
My dad was an engineer, yeah. And he actually is had an incredibly creative brain. And he was always, I was lucky because of his background and how he grew up, he was okay with us doing our thing too. So, it was good.
In making,
yeah. So it was never a case of, no, you can't be an artist or you can't do that. It was always, okay, you've got to get a job, but that's cool. That's cool too. So I think I was very lucky to be encouraged, considering that at the time I was born.
Yeah. And your mum, was she?
Yeah, my mum is very creative in a different way, in a non-formal way, but she's got a very artistic brain and very creative. in her own way, as most people are. Yeah.
So cool. And obviously, your sister Donna is a creative.
And my baby sister Donna, yeah. Yes, Donna is too. So it's kind of a unusual family. We myself who works in the creative industries. Then my next sister down is a phys ed teacher, although now moved into another branch of teaching. The next one down is an accountant, and then there's Donna. So we've kind of got a real mixture of minds, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And so as a child, do you remember making a lot of stuff? I mean, obviously.
Always, yeah.
Sculptural.
I think as I've got older, especially now, I realise that that's always been my happy place. And being the oldest of four children, I think I used to find solace in locking myself in the room, playing with my pencils or something to get away from the rest of them. Yeah.
And what sort of stuff were you making?
Drawing. I just love drawing.
Really?
And I still love drawing. I still think that it's it's a foundation that should be encouraged, actually. I find it a bit scary when people can't draw. Yeah.
And a lot of people think they can't draw.
Everyone can draw, but I think the whole thing with computers and CAD design has actually taken away quite a lot of that hand to paper, and just make a mark. That's what I say. Yeah.
And were you sort of doing sculptural work? And I mean, were you actually making with textiles and thread?
Oh no, I didn't actually. Through school, I didn't take up art until I was in my sixth form, and I decided to do school see art while I was in my sixth form, and I was incredibly lucky to have a wonderful art teacher. Her name was Rachel Feather, and hopefully she'll listen to this because I still talk to her. And
what school was that, Nana?
Kelston Girls High School. Mm-hmm. And she was just the most wonderful. I was so fortunate to have her and thank her, a lot for the encouragement that she gave me, because I came from out of nowhere and said, I want to do this.
And what made you decide to do school C in sixth form?
I just felt like I wanted to stretch myself a bit more, and I just had felt there was a calling that I had to follow through, and I took it as an extra subject. So I took 6 subjects instead of 5.
Wow.
But she encouraged me, and I was able to step up halfway through the year and do sixth form art instead of school C art. So, yeah.
Oh, right. So you moved on up.
Yeah, moved on up.
Yeah. And at the time, school C art in the fifth form, you didn't want to do it? Or?
No, I didn't. Well, you kind of get caught up in what you should be doing. I did tech drawing and all the normal basic subjects, because that's what you do, back in the 70s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you kind of you conform. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great that you kind of look back and thought, actually, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
I need to do it. Yeah.
Which is great at that age.
Yeah. I was really lucky.
Yeah.
And I had a very supportive family, so it helps.
Yeah. They just sort of acknowledged what you were doing rather than...
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of think, and probably still today, art, and back then you had home tech or whatever they used to call it, and they were kind of outside subjects that, weren't proper. And so that's always been a thing that why not? Why does it have to be something that's an added extra, but until you do get a real job? And
in those days, I mean, it was looked at, it was the people who didn't have a brain or weren't academic did those other subjects. It wasn't really valued in the same way, was it?
It wasn't. And in some ways, I think that can still be the case.
Yeah. I'd say so too. Yeah. So going through from school, where did you head off after that?
So when I finished school, I got a job when I was 18 working for a company that was called Zarak Interiors in the city. Again, really lucky. They were an interior design company, a retail store, And my boss, Bruce Robinson, was one of the importers of Marimekko fabrics and Zalando fabrics. So
Wow.
I think I only really got the job because I said I love fabric. So, but I was, again, really, really, really lucky to have a fantastic employer, who also encouraged me to do stuff and, shop design and, it was great. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about fabrics at that time. And colour, colour and how to match patterns and how they work together. I mean, it's a very interior design thing. I think if you work in interior design, you have to love pattern and you have to love textiles, really, and how different environments are changed by what you put in them. And it was just a great learning environment for me. And then after I did that for about 2.5 years, and then I decided I wanted to go to art school. And because I kind of had a bit of too much of a good time in my last year of high school, I decided to go back to school when I was 20 to do art again and as a 7th form subject so that I could get into Elam.
Oh, wow.
So I went back as an adult student at 20 to Henderson High School, actually, where my other sisters were at school.
That was brave as a 20-year-old.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was brave. It just sort of worked and I really wanted to do it. And I thought, why not? Just give it a go. And if you can get in, you get in. And I was very fortunate that I got in. And that was just so fantastic. It was one of the best 4 years of my life, really, to get in there and be around just such brilliant people. And I was very fortunate. I had very good lecturers at that time. And I worked with very good fellow students. And I think art school is very much about the people that are around. If you have good people around you that are also trying to push boundaries and trying to get to the top of their game, it reflects back on you as well. You absorb all that. And I was really lucky to be at that time at Elam because it was out of sight, out of mind, the art school. And so the university didn't really want to know much about it as long as we kept out of their hair. And so we were just lucky to have this little space. Oh, it's not so little now, but it was then, to create, be left alone. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Great opportunity. And what was your focus there?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I didn't intend to do design, but that was my strong point. So I did applied design for the final 3 years. Yeah.
And what sort of things were you making?
Oh, we made furniture. We didn't have computers or anything like that then. So we made furniture. We did a lot of graphic design, hand lettering. Yeah. All that sort of thing. Really, really basic stuff that nobody would know how to do now. But it's ground, it's just the groundwork.
Yeah, good foundation.
Yeah, really good foundation. Yeah. Kind of when I look back at it now, I pulled out my old portfolio for my 4th year just a little while ago, and I was so appalled. I just thought, oh my God, that's just so gross. And I chucked it all out.
No.
Oh yeah, because things have, you evolve in your practice.
Yeah.
And technology evolves. When you look at it, you just think, oh my God, that looks like something someone...
So basic.
Yeah, really basic. But
Yeah.
we didn't have any of the sophisticated tools that you have now.
So different.
So it looks weird. Yeah.
But it still, probably informed your practice in some way.
Oh yeah, totally.
All of that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wasn't a waste.
No, it wasn't a waste. None of it was a waste.
No way.
But it's like when you look back at earlier work, you go, oh God, thank God I've moved on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so after that, I did a really weird thing my 4th year at university. I got married. And my husband was he's a merchant banker, which was a very strange combination. I used to wave at him in his office as I walked down to art school. And then after I finished art school, I went back into interior design. So I worked for a couple of different companies at that time, and then for about 7 years, and then had my son, and then I set up my own interior design practice.
Wow. So it's interesting, isn't it, that you didn't actually study interior design?
No.
But you obviously had a thing for it, and then you went back to it.
Well, it was circumstance because, back in the 80s when I was married, there was a big financial crash and one of us had to earn money and I could get back into it. And while my husband found another job. So I kind of was led back there by necessity, really, rather than choice. And, it's an industry that I love. I do love lots of things about it, but it's a lot of excess too. There's a lot of things about it when you're dealing with a lot of money and you just think, oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
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 The materialistic side.
Yeah, materialistic side kind of, I got tired of it in the end. In fact, the reason when I finally gave up my practice, and that was New Year, Christmas Eve, I think my son was about 2 and I was in someone's house decorating their tree for their Christmas party and I just thought, this is not right. Yeah, this is something wrong with my life. And so after that, I gave it away.
And through that time, did you have your own art practice? Or
not really. I mean, I always made things, but not to any deep level. Yeah, it was survival. Yeah, basically.
And did you expect to be an arts practitioner when you were, in your 20s and doing the interior design? Did you think that you were always going to become that kind of person?
I don't know. I think you kind of get swept up in the time that you're in. And, those were the days I had a lot of, fun times. It's like the bonfire of the vanities. I guess I got swept up in that whole thing and thought, oh yeah, well, I can always do that. And I think a lot of people, I find when I talk to artists, they take what they have for granted and don't realize that what they have is actually a gift. And they go, oh yeah, I can do that. That's easy. And they don't realize actually not everyone can do what they do. And that's part of the path I'm on now is encouraging people to not take their talent for granted, because it is something that it's inherent in you and it's your offering to the world. Basically, it's what you have. Yeah, and it's if you like that kind of like sense of purpose thing, and sometimes it takes a long time to find that sense of purpose. For me, it did, and I think that's what I love to encourage in other people as well. Yeah,
and how do you do that?
Owning up to it, really, really going deep and saying what do I really want to do with my life. Yeah, sometimes you got to be hit around the head a few times with some things that happen in your life, and you suddenly realize, well, okay, I've got hopefully this much time left. What do I want to do? Forgetting everything else. When you're really torn down to just basics of life. And you say, forget everything else that's happened in your life. You're starting new today. What do you want to do? And it's only really recently that I've decided that that's what I'm going to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
And in what ways do you encourage other people to reach that point, do you think?
A lot of introspection. I don't think you need to go about it the hard way like me, but I think it's really important that you be happy, I think, and what you're doing in your work. And the great thing about if you are a creative, it's okay, it's not 9 to 5 and it's hard and you have to realize that the work is really, really hard and you might not make any money out of it for a long time, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing it, and get really clear about what your priorities are. And that, I think that's the most important thing. And I think a lot of us, including myself, you tend to work in industries which I call the shadow industries, which are industries around what you should be doing, because there's no great risk, you know. You're not putting yourself out there too far. And I think a lot of people do that, and I did it myself. And I think if you've got the courage, you should follow what you want to do. Yeah,
follow your passion.
Yeah, it's not easy. I make it sound all airy fairy and nice, but it's really not. It's super hard. Yeah, super hard.
But it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally worth it to be doing something that you want to do. That's your gift.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that feeds you.
Yeah, it feeds you, makes you happy. Yeah,
yeah. So, onto your own practice. So, when with the interior design work, you gave that up, and then when did you start sort of discovering your own practice and sort of starting to make?
I think when I gave up my own practice, I decided that I got opportunity to buy into a gallery, Leatham Gallery, which was on Jervois Road, and I had a partner there for a few years. Then she sold her share to my younger sister Donna, and Donna's also really highly motivated in her own practice. And we started saying, oh, okay, well, maybe you should make some work, too. And it's quite hard being a gallery owner, putting your own work in a show. So I had to sort of go under a pseudonym for a while. But it was really testing the waters. And then I kind of thought, yeah, this is okay. And people like it. And, I could sell work. I can sell work now for more than I can make by the hour, at a sort of average job. So I did the gallery for 10 years and I loved it. It was just so great being around artists. But again, I'm working in something rather than doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then after I sold the gallery, I decided to sort of really get stuck into it really. And I was fortunate enough again I needed a studio. So there was a studio advertised on Upper Queen Street, which was then called Method and Manners, which was started by amazing artist called Erin Forsyth. And so I went in there and I was lucky to be around again, much, much younger people than me, but that was their life to make art. And I thought, okay, I can do that. These people don't care what my background is. They don't care anything about me. There's no expectations. And, it was great. It was the best thing I ever did. Yeah.
That's so great. And again, quite a brave move in some ways, just stepping out of your...
Yeah, I tend to do that. But unfortunately, I think I tend to wait till it's, a breaking point before I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little push to kind of go there. Yeah. So for the listeners, you're obviously into textiles and working with ropes and thread and that kind of thing. Can you, in a nutshell, describe your practice?
In a nutshell, that's quite difficult, isn't it?
In a big nutshell.
In a big nutshell. I guess for me, when I first got started on the embroidery thing, it was a way to extend my drawing practice. Really, I wasn't have no training in embroidery at all, but I felt that the stitching was like my drawing. So, and that's how I've always treated it. So it's the way I use coloured pencils is the same way as I use thread or paint. And I'm really interested in the blending of colour and when colour changes from one tone to another. And I could do that with thread because I'm not a painter. I'm not a great painter. I'd love to be a painter, but I'm not.
I'm sure you could be. If you
I guess what my expectations of a painter is in that case. And I could sit there at night and do it on the couch, which was great for me. It was a real great form of relaxation. So that was kind of like the embroidery started off, and I think some of the works that I sent you they're actually quite old works. that first started when I first started working with embroidery and thread.
And those works are on your blog, on the Creative Matters website.
Yeah. And I quite like, and then I started to want to do larger works. So I had to work out a way to transfer images and things onto larger canvases. And I still do quite a lot of embroidery, but now I'm leaning more to like fabric manipulation, like smocking, and that kind of thing. I'm being vague because I'm sort of still working my way through the whole process, and I just like I like to use fabrics like with rope, and form shapes with them, I guess. But not everything with me has a narrative. Sometimes I just like to try something out, and I love the idea of bringing something out that hasn't been there before. And I remember one of my bosses, I was thinking about this today when I was quite young, said to me, I was always trying to reinvent the wheel. And I think that's so true. I make my life so hard because I'm always trying to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
And it's funny because once I've solved that problem, I don't really want to do it anymore.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've got another friend who we always joke about that because he's the same way. It's like once I've solved the problem of how to make that, it might take me 10 or 12 times, but that's it. I've solved the problem. I don't need to do it anymore. And I think that's the way. Also, lots of people have said to me, "Oh, if you take an image of your print of your artwork, then you could make it into a print." And then you could make more money. But for me, it's never about that. It's always like solving a problem or trying to get the message across of what I want to say.
So do you have ideas, like does stuff come into your head where you're like, oh, I'd love to make a large lamp using ropes and in this kind of way? Or, I mean, how does your mind work?
Oh, well, I think with that piece that's on there, I had this bird cage that was sitting on my deck, and I thought, what could I do with that? And I had a whole lot of rope. So sometimes it's about what's available on hand. I'm a bit of a hoarder, but I do use most of the stuff I collect. And I thought with that particular piece, I thought I could make that into a lamp shape maybe. And then I just start working with it and see what shape it actually takes. And that's what's the exciting part for me. Believe me, lots of things get undone a lot before I'm happy. Yeah.
And so you don't draw the plan up of what the final product. It's kind of
sometimes
organic.
I do. Yeah, with the more abstract pieces, it's a lot more organic because you don't know how the material's going to act. And that's what you're learning. I think that's part of the learning process of working with any type of material. It's like, how is it going to act if I hit it this way or I stretch it that way or I bend it that way? Yeah.
So would you say you're quite experimental and that's what you enjoy, that part of the process?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like to push the stuff as far as it can go.
And then when you've done, this is so interesting for me, when you get to a point where you've sort of solved that problem, then do you think, oh, now I want to sort of extend that and try doing the same kind of thing with a different material? Or does that kind of get you going on to the next thing? Yeah,
I think that each time you do something like that, it pushes your practice a bit further, and it just leads to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I think that's the beauty of having an art practice is that you're always experimenting. And like I personally don't think that like once you've done a show, you should take a break, and rest. I think you should actually just always have, because then you don't get those ups and highs and lows. You're just always working all the time. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand outside of the art industry, that people are always working generally. They're not just taking 3 weeks off because they've finished a job. They're always learning and always practicing and always upskilling their craft, because that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that sort of lights the fire, isn't it, for you?
It is. Yeah. It's your happy place.
Puts fire in your belly. Yeah, for sure. And do you find that you have lots of projects on the go at the same time, or how does that work?
You could ask the people that live with me who say I've got far too many things on the go in one time, and sometimes I do. But it's the same thing that I'm probably just problem solving, and then I'll come back to it when I've worked it out. And I think it's kind of good. I've learnt like that. We've got the Murawai Arts exhibition next week. Plug that one. And I've got 2 pieces that are just about completed, and I've just left them at the just about finished stage now. And I'm just going to leave them for a couple of days, and then I'll go back and finish it off. And I'm just working on something else, and then I'll go back because
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of good to just come back fresh. Otherwise, you're pushing things too far.
Yeah,
too
sometimes
fast.
you need to be able to reflect, to go away and reflect.
Yeah, exactly.
And so for these ones, did you have the final result in your head and sort of figure out how to get there?
I did, yeah, because they're just like some of my work is that I like is just like sayings, because I find that language is just historical. That what people and today's society is just so funny, like what we put emphasis on, what's important, and so these are more kind of pieces of writing, really,
with fabric,
yeah,
and thread,
yes, yeah,
nice. Well, I'm thinking about the one in the last Murawai Arts show with the red velvet. What was that?
Oh, yeah, not negotiable. Yeah, like so it's kind of like an extension of that.
And that was it on a lid or on satin?
It was on a lid, yeah, and I padded it all out, yeah.
So can you tell us about that one? I love that piece.
Oh, I just think that some things aren't negotiable, and it's kind of a reflection on your values, really. Yeah, some values aren't negotiable, and I think people need to remember that. And as women, we need to remember that too, especially young women. I think today need to realise that they're standing on the shoulders of some giants that have made that path for them, and some things aren't negotiable. And I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that. I'm single, and I'm still learning that at my age, at 58, that some things aren't negotiable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all are, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good that you're on the path.
Well, I think we're all on the path, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think you're never finished on the path.
No.
Yeah.
And that piece was... Did you find the lid, or did you have the?
I had the lid. Yeah, like I had the lid, and I think it was like I had that idea. I had the
words.
I had a stamp, actually. That's what it was, an old stamp, like a bank stamp, and I stamped it on a piece of paper, then blew it up. So yeah, that's a stamp that I probably bought like 7 years ago. So that's when I collect stuff. I know that at some stage I'll use it. Yeah.
That's very cool. It's quite interesting, quite different. I love your practice. And I just like to tell everyone too that I actually own that bird cage turned into a lamp shade.
It's one of my patrons.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky and I love it. It hangs in my very small stairwell and takes up most of the
space.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And but it is, your work is, I'm so drawn to it, and I guess some people would say it's sort of freestyling. I know you've talked to me about this before, where that sort of freestyling embroidery that people talk about. Yeah. You actually need quite a lot of background experience before you can start freestyling.
Yeah. I think that's, I kind of hate to use Picasso as an example, but he did say it took him how many years to learn to draw like a child again. And I think that's really true, is that you have to do the foundation work first. There's no skipping. If you skip processes, you never learn, and I think that's what I find interesting about some photographers now, or people studying photography, is that it's such a gift to be able to work in a dark room, because you actually learn to manipulate in the whole process, whereas now we've got everything's digital, and you can take a great shot, but you don't really learn how that comes about, what all the angles of making that photograph are. And the same with embroidery. I think it's good to learn some basic things. basic skills, and then forget about it and just go for it. Do your own stuff, you know.
And for some people that is a bit scary, I guess, kind of stepping off the main track.
Yeah, but that's just a confidence thing. They think that it's not okay and there's lots of people, and, you know, I meet them all the time that, it's not perfect. If you're looking for perfection, then, you know, get it done on a machine. Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be perfect. I mean, that's not very interesting, is it? Perfect.
Well, in these days, you know, I think that's the whole movement of the handmade movement, is that people are respecting that things that are handmade aren't perfect. Yeah.
Which is so good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, thank God for that. And I you know, it wasn't that long ago, was it, that embroidery and wool and, you know, those kind of materials and mediums were regarded as craft and not seen as important as art.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And what's your view on that?
For me personally, I just think that's just the medium that I use and other people use too, as an expression. That's their way that they find the easiest way to express what they're trying to do. It's no different to me than a spray can or a paintbrush or a chisel. You know, it's just my choice. That's what I use. And as it a craft, well, yeah. I mean, you know, 16th century, you know, painters were craftspeople, you know, so that's what Michelangelo and Leonardo, they were craftspeople. Okay, it's a craft, so what? It doesn't matter. You know, it's what you put into it, and it's the love that you give it. There shouldn't be a hierarchy with it.
No.
It's an interesting thing. It's a really difficult area because it is blowing up quite a bit now. Working with textiles and soft materials has become a lot more respected. And sadly, you know, although women have been using that medium for a long time, it's only now been recognised as a, you know, an okay thing to do.
Yeah, and you see all sorts of things like that in galleries, and, you know, which is great, but it wasn't that long ago where you would never have seen something like that.
No, and yet it's been around like a very long time. And now those women who were working back in the 40s and 50s are like really revered by the rest of us, and which is great. But in their time, it was their male counterparts that were the stars of the show.
I wonder if males were making embroidery.
Yeah, they probably were. Yeah, and that's okay too.
But I wonder if there were more men doing those kind of craft industries, if it might have been regarded differently.
Yeah, I guess so. It could be.
That's interesting.
I think there's still a little bit of a thing now when you see male artists working in embroidery. It does have a slightly heightened sense of superiority to it, which is a bit disappointing. And it's different, but it's definitely out there. Definitely.
I actually can't think of any male embroidery artists. Are they around?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's actually quite a few in New Zealand. And it just like, yeah, just so what? I don't think what your gender is sort of making a difference. It's about, is your work good?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you doing the work? Yeah.
Yeah. Should have nothing to do with gender, really.
No, none whatsoever.
No. Yeah, but I mean, there has been a big shift, that's for sure. And do you want to say anything else about your practice?
Oh, my practice is it's always a hard question, isn't it? Because I actually do quite a few different things, and my practice is very much in a very infant stage, I think, at this point. But I'm hopefully going to be doing a show later in the year. A joint show with someone, and where it'll be a little bit more personal. I'm working on that now. I've got a lot of drawings and background work and text and writing that I've done that tells a bit of a story about my journey, I guess, as a female. And I'm kind of interested in females in general at the moment and how they sit in the world. And not in a sort of yucky, I hate men kind of way, but I guess it's kind of the age I am and getting there, that whole being a crone. I love that word. Like, I want to bring the crone word back, So it's going to be around that kind of thing. It'll probably be a lot of self-portraiture, I think. That's the way I'm heading at the moment, which would be a bit scary because I hate photographs. But we'll see.
Interesting.
We'll see. That will be, I think it's going to be in November.
Cool.
Later in the year. So I'll be working with Emma Bosley, who's just like an amazing painter. Again, someone that doesn't know just how fabulous she is. So we're doing a show together. And probably my sister will be the curator. So,
brilliant.
So she gets her whip out and gets us going.
Keeps you in line.
Yeah.
And do you know where that's going to happen?
Where? Yeah, no, I don't at this stage. We're looking at a couple of different places, so that will be coming out shortly when we decide where. Yeah.
And do you like having a deadline of a show?
I do need a deadline,
That's
I'd
helpful.
say. Yeah.
But you're still a bit last minute, hey?
Yeah, I am a little bit last minute, but I always get it done. I think it's kind of good. It really creates a lot of energy when you're working like that. I mean, I don't want to be too last minute with my stuff because it actually takes quite a long time to make.
Yeah.
But I've got better at pacing that and knowing what needs to be done. And I'm lucky I don't have any, dependents or anyone to worry about, so I can kind of work when I want to. So in that case, it's good for me.
Yeah. Exciting. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Brilliant. So it's interesting to hear about your practice and, people can see some of your work on the blog.
Yes.
And on your website that might come out one day.
Yes, I have a website, and due to my former sort of way of not wanting to talk about myself and show my work, I need to change that. And in the next couple of weeks, I've actually had the website for a year and I haven't actually promoted it. So now with the new work that I'm doing, I'm going to stick it out there and let the world decide.
Absolutely, that's great. And you have this podcast to put onto your website.
Yeah, man.
Telling all about you. So that's good. It's good for you. So Anna, you're a well-respected curator in New Zealand and you've worked on various shows around New Zealand, the Sculpture on Shore, and you've been a huge part of the arts trail at Explore festivals for about 6 years in a row.
Yes.
And you've done lots of private exhibitions and public art projects and that kind of thing. So, you're super experienced and well thought of. How did you get into that kind of world?
Well, I guess apart from having the gallery, which I guess is a different, you do, probably I worked out we'd done 100 exhibitions, curated 100 exhibitions by the time we'd sold it. So you get quite a lot of experience at doing that.
Yeah.
But outdoor sculpture shows, I started to work with my colleague Ross Liu, who's part of Cut Collective. And he was already on Explore when I met him, and he brought me on just to help him really at that stage. And I loved it. I mean, I'm kind of like this. In terms of like curatorial work, I prefer to work outside. I prefer to work with sculpture, and I just love being in the field. Love working in the field more than calling myself the curator and wafting around with scarves floating around me and telling people what to do. I actually like to get my hands dirty, and I love working with the artists. And I think that's kind of been, and Ross was very much the same. That's always been our strong suit, is that we're always more interested in the art and the artists than, the show being about us and curating. And it's been a great experience. Explore is a wonderful place to work. We just have the most amazing crew that we work with that have been there much, much longer than us. And it's like working with a family every year. And it's great. And we have a gorgeous space that we work in. And with Sculpture on Shore, we were driven to do that. Ross and I, due to the fact it was for Women's Refuge, and to raise funds for them. A lot of our work curatorially has been a social practice to help raise awareness to certain things. That's where the buzz is really for me, and I think for Ross as well. So that's how I kind of got into it, really. I have done a lot of indoor exhibitions I've curated, but the outdoor ones is where my love is. But I am very much about the art and about making sure the artists are looked after, because sometimes when you work for events that are trying to raise money for a charity, the actual corporate side of it tends to take over, and the artists are always like, oh, this will be good for your show reel, which is, artists have to live and earn money. It's not just about, because I think in general artists are always used to raise funds, and it's really unfortunate because the matter of the work sells or not, they still put the time in.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very much about making sure they're taken care of, first and foremost, before my ego gets involved in it. Yeah,
I don't think you have an ego.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we all do, but it's not about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And how? I mean, so you're obviously kind of looking after them in the financial sense.
Yeah, making sure they're getting paid what they should. I mean, they're never paid what they should be paid, never, because you can't. And even myself, I know you can't get paid for the hours that you put in. It's just impossible. So just make sure that they've got enough. They've got, getting fed and that sort of thing.
And then how else do you see that you that you're supporting the artists and sort of empowering them? And in what way are you helping with that?
I mean, you've got to do a lot of encouragement, and I think being a practicing artist myself, it makes a difference because you can understand where their head's at and what part of the process they're in. And you always have parts of the process where you think this is just rubbish, and you've got to be able to push through that. And I can see that with other people where they're at in their process. And also, there's a whole lot of other logistics, making sure that it's the right scale if they can't see it, or what they've presented in their proposal is what they're actually making.
Yeah.
Because we can all go off the rails a bit.
Yeah.
And just supporting them in that way, really. Encouragement. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you find challenging about that kind of work?
What's the challenging part? Working with artists is always challenging. Yeah, it's always challenging because that the funniest thing is, and I do it myself, is when a lot of the work that we do, you have to fill out a lot of forms and do health and safety. There's a lot of logistics involved, and they might read the first paragraph and then not read the rest of it. So you got to send it again and again and again and again and again and again and again until they sign it. Yeah, and then they come on site and they still haven't done what they're supposed to have done. So that's the challenging part.
The
admin, yeah, because artists don't want to read. They don't want to read big contracts. They're not going to read it. They're just not going to. So there's no point in developing, which I have seen with some projects. Lawyers develop contracts which are 7 pages long. There's no artist going to read that.
No
they're just not.
Yeah, too busy for that.
Yeah.
It would be tricky, but I love the idea of it's quite sort of multi-dimensional, that kind of work, isn't it?
Yeah,
lots of different aspects to it.
Yeah, it uses different parts of your brain. I mean, you spend a lot of time in spreadsheets, which is not my strong point, to be perfectly honest. And I think anyone that works with me would say that. I'm a people person, so I'm really good in the field. And I'll sort of, I can do the spreadsheet stuff, but it's not where my passion is.
No.
Yeah.
And then do you get a real buzz when the show's complete and it's all together?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm happy for the artists. I'm thrilled for them that they saw the process through, and it looks amazing. Yeah. So, and you have a vision of how something's going to work, and then when it all comes together, it's like building a house. It's like, wow, that's cool.
And there's so many stages leading up to the final result.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing.
Exactly.
And I know that you see art as an essential part of a healthy community. How do you contribute to that, and what makes you feel that?
How do I contribute to that? Well, I think I contribute it by encouraging other people to make their own stuff, be a maker, make anything, just get out there and do it. And I think also art can be used to send a message. It can be a messaging. It can be a way to bring people together on a project or an idea. I think it's an important part of life. Whatever you're creating, whether it's music or writing or, it's a real shame. I think we talk about art and we think that everyone's on the same board, but they're not actually. And you can see that with the education system, how it's just been filtered down, because it's not important, because it doesn't attach itself to IT or,
Yeah, absolutely.
And at definitely at university level, it's become that way as well, that the art schools are becoming much more, they want to get a job. And I'm thinking, well, why would you go to art school if you want to get a job? That's, to me, is just strange. So I like to encourage people to actually think of it as a way of life. Yeah.
And it's good on so many levels, like as a therapy,
really good
for helping
helping
your
people.
mental health as well as, emotional.
It's proven. Yeah. It's proven that it does help people. And that's the other way that I think could be opened up a little bit more. Yeah. A lot of talk around it, but nothing much ever happens. Yeah.
Hopefully in the future.
Yeah, but a lot of things will have to change within the education system for that to happen. I mean, I think I read recently they're going to try and take Shakespeare out of school curriculum because it's got no value. Why? That's crazy.
I know,
yeah.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the New Zealand curriculum, particularly in primary schools, which is my area,
yes.
It worries me that the visual arts can slip by and that's okay.
Yeah, it slipped by, but then they always call upon the artist if they want to raise money for something. So, it's a kind of a weird
true.
balance to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want? You want us to be there or you don't want us to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of schools do art shows, don't they? But
yeah, don't start me on that. Yeah. It's always been a bugbear, school art shows for me.
in what way?
Well, of course, when I had a gallery, it was when they first started. That's when they first started doing it, and I used to get people coming in saying, "Oh, can we get some artwork to put in our art show?" And I go, "You're in competition with me. Why would I do that?" It's crazy.
They'd come to the gallery to ask for work.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
And it's just like, well, are you going to give me a free, accountant?
Yeah.
I just, I find it. I think there could be better ways for school to raise money. And you're also setting up a situation where artists can only sell their work in those environments. Because I'm a big believer in galleries, actually. I think they're really important. And they do a great job, most of them. And artists need them. They need good gallery directors. And if the galleries are in competition with schools,
that's true.
it's a bit tricky. Yeah.
And what advice would you have, for somebody who would like to be associated with a gallery or exhibiting in a gallery?
So hard.
It's a hard one to get into that.
Man, it's so hard now because there aren't any emerging galleries really, or galleries for emerging artists. There's a couple, but not that many. It's really, really hard. I think there's a case that if you want to put on a show, get someone that can curate the show for you, hire the space, put it on, get your work out there, and that's what it's about. It's about believing that you just get your work out there. If you're worried about selling your work, you're already gone, because it's actually just being in the arena and you're putting your work out there, whether it sells or not. Because if you're worried about selling, then you tend to get caught in that commercial side of it and making work for the market or to match people's cushions, and that's sad.
Yeah.
That's just my personal
Yeah,
point of view.
I agree.
You know?
And so it's getting out there and sharing your work more than getting out there to sell it.
Like it doesn't matter if your work doesn't sell. You're still in there. You're still in the arena. Like you're still practicing. You're still making stuff, and it's not always about selling your work. Yeah,
that's really good.
And that's coming from someone that I'm not wealthy at all. I think most people know that. So it's not just about selling your work. It's actually about being true to yourself.
Yeah,
and having respect.
Hard.
Yeah, and having respect for what you're doing and other artists too. Yeah, it's like artists that undersell their work, and if they're underselling their work, then that becomes the market price. So it's all those really strange commercial things come into it, as well as your ethics. So it's tricky.
It's tricky, and it's a big area.
Yeah, it's a really big area.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't got time to talk about that.
No, another
we
program.
could do another podcast on galleries and showing your work in a gallery. We should do that. Be good.
Cool, I'd love that.
Yeah, okay, we'll do it. We will do it. And I guess, it would be interesting to know what you're planning for your future. I know that you're focusing a lot on your own practice now, which is good. Yeah. Is there more curating in the future?
No. I mean, I love Splore. I love Splore doing that work because I love the people. I don't find curating as challenging as I used to.
Have you solved that problem?
Yeah, I kind of solved that problem. And for me, again, it's like what I said. It's an industry that I feel like it's my shadow career. And curating big shows is incredibly tiring. And you're putting your energy into something that I'm not getting the return. I'm not talking about financial, I'm talking about emotional and happiness. So I feel at this stage that I want to just focus on my own work and get it out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. And see because I think, who cares? You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you know where your practice is heading, or are you just looking forward to kind of
I'm just looking forward to experimenting. I mean, my next thing is the show that I'm doing with Emma. So my focus after the Muriwai thing will be on that.
Yeah.
And getting my website up and running. Yeah.
Can't wait. Oh, that's very exciting. I'm sure you're going to make amazing work.
Thank you, Mandy.
And a few other little questions for you. So we've kind of talked a little bit about what advice you'd have for creatives, particularly before they, if they wanted to show in galleries. But what would you say to someone starting out on their creative journey?
Starting out, just do the work. That's what I say to everyone. Just do the work. Put the pencil on the paper. Just start. That's all you need to do. Just sit down and do it, because it's never going to happen if you don't sit down and do it. And my motto has been for a long time now, just do the work. I don't want to hear about your thesis on it. There's far too many theses written around artworks. Just actually do it, and then take the next step and the next step and the next step.
And the more you do it, the more ideas come.
Yeah, the more ideas come, yeah. But if you don't start, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why ropes, thread and textiles?
Oh, I think that just goes back to my childhood.
Yeah.
That was around me. And that's what I find easiest to work with them, because I've had kind of a transient life in the last sort of 10 years. They're easy things to move around from one place to the other.
Nope, that's my dog. I might just sort my dog out and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so the dog's sorted. Just last question really, Anna. What lights your fire?
What lights my fire? Come on, baby. What lights my fire? Oh, really, visually, I love movies. Movies light my fire. Music too, and really just beautiful writing. Beautiful writing really lights my fire. when I read something that's just captures something that is like on another level, you know, and your imagination gets sparked by, and you think, how did they think that up? You know, how did they write that? Just what I'm feeling, you know, and I think that's kind of so exciting. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to say writing.
Really?
No, that's very
Really?
cool. And what do you love about what you do?
Oh, the freedom of it. Yeah, I think the freedom of being able to do what you really, your heart desires, you know, that you're driven to it, and acknowledging that's it. That's what you got. That's what came into this world with you, and trusting that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And it is trust. So you have to trust that that's right for you. And with that, just the most amazing people that you meet, you know, and I think it's all about, I think artist life's really lonely, and I think you have to accept that that's part of it, that you are going to be lonely. But at the same time, you're actually going to meet some really amazing people along the way that are going to just lift you up and encourage you. And I think that's what I've learnt the most, is that you surround yourself by a really supportive group of people, and you light each other's fires, really, you know, and you can just talk. And I think when you have, you know, we call that word tribe, it's quite overused now, but when you are around creative people, you're talking the same language, and it just feels so natural, you know, and you think, oh, yeah, okay, I fit in. Because we all want to fit in, you know, and I think that to me has been the greatest source of pleasure, actually, in my later life that I've led, you know, the last 10 years or so, is working with people that just lift you up, and say, yeah, you can do it, go on, it's crazy, go and do it, you know,
and inspire you.
Yeah, like people like, and also like being out here, I never thought I'd live at Embroidery full time. I always thought I'd be in town because that's where the buzz was, and you know, but I love living out here. I love being around this community. I think lots of people have said that on here too, because it is actually true. It's a real creative community, and we all look out for each other.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, if you've got a problem or something, there's always like Mandy to talk to. Oh, you know, it's just like, and being around creative people, we support each other.
Yeah.
And
totally.
you need that support. You
Absolutely.
can't do it without it. You go loopy.
Yeah, you do need that. And some people who really understand you and get what you're going through, I guess. And do you find Marae inspiring as a place, like a lot of our guests on the podcast have so far?
Well, I'm not in nature. Like, I was really glad that you didn't ask me the bird question, because I have this thing about, you know, it's been around for a while, and most people know this about me, is like, you know, you put a bird on it and then it'll sell, you know, and that's why I was like, please don't ask me the bird question. So I'm not inspired in that way by sort of like the fauna, but I love the ocean, and I love the fact that when you swim in the ocean, you enter another world, and that's what I love about it. You know, it's quiet and it's not your space, and so I can't imagine not living by the sea again. So I get a lot from that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it doesn't sort of directly influence your work, but it's kind of feeding you in some other way.
Yeah, well, kind of like when you're in your head so much, like we are, you know, you're just going for a waddle on the beach and your whole brain seems to sort of open up. Yeah. And I just think that's a natural thing that you get when you live in a rural community with lots of big spaces, that it actually helps keep you mentally well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Oh, well, Anna, this has been a total pleasure. You have always been someone who I found inspiring.
Oh, thank you, Mandy.
And, you know, I just feel like you've got so many talents, and there's, you know, the world's your oyster. There's so much you could still be doing, and I know that you'll do it. And, you know, you are good to artists and to people in general. You're a really good listener and a sort of good person to speak with about all things art, really.
Thank
So,
you, Mandy.
you give a lot to people, and it's been really beautiful talking to you. Thanks
for the opportunity, because, you don't get to talk about yourself very often. Because it's all about me.
Absolutely. No, thanks, Anna. It's been
Thanks,
great.
Mandy.
Thank
Cheers.
you.